I've held off on playing Coalossal VMAX in Standard this long because, honestly, I want it to be good so badly, but I'm worried by finally playing it that it'll suck. There's so much potential for the card, and Coalossal is one of my favorite new Galar Pokemon, but then I watched a few people play the deck, and I saw early tournament results, and that excitement quickly faded, but then I got to thinking about how good Fighting-type Pokemon are right now. They hit most Electric, Dark, and Normal types for weakness, and that just makes it the best type in the game when it comes to weakness coverage. And the two main support Pokemon in the TCG right now are Crobat V and Dedenne-GX, and they are both weak to fighting, so that's another huge plus. So realistically, you just need to KO 3 Dedenne or 3 Crobat or a combination for game, and it only takes a single energy for Coalossal VMAX to use Eruption Shot. But that's where the problems come in. Eruption Shot has 40 base damage, that is horrible, but if the top card of your deck is an energy, it does 90 more damage, so 130, and then with weakness, 260. So you're taking an easy knockout on Crobat and Dedenne. The problem is, how do you get that energy on the top of your deck? This deck doesn't play Rotom Phone. Rotom Phone lets you look at the top 5, I believe, and put a card on top. But if you put 4 Rotom Phone in your deck, you have to make space for it, and that would be Crushing Hammer most likely. So that's not great. And Rotom Phone requires one of the next 5 cards in your deck to be an energy. So it's tough if you can spare the space or not, but obviously the best partner is going to be the Oranguru from Sword and Shield base set. Primate Wisdom, once during your turn, you can switch a card from your hand with the top card of your deck, so that can guarantee that an energy is on top of your deck. The problem is that you have to have an energy in your hand to put on the top of your deck. So Oranguru is really good, Rotom Phone is kinda good. It would be great if you could play both just for maximum consistency, and maybe that is, the future of Coalossal is it plays Oranguru and Rotom Phone, and you just cut out the Crushing Hammer. And the list is pretty straightforward. You play a 4-3 Coalossal VMAX, so that gives you the best odds possible of starting Coalossal V on turn 1. You have Galarian Sirfetch'd, which just, if you're familiar with Heatran-GX, when this goes into the active from the bench, you can move energy to it, and then it does 200 damage, so that's really good for a 2-prizer. And then you just have, your support Pokemon, so it's pretty straightforward. Personally, I think Pokemon Catcher, or, I think the original list had Great Catcher, had 2 copies of Great Catcher, and I cut 1 to make room for Sirfetch'd, but there's just so many little changes you can make, up the count of buff padding, up the count of Martial Arts Dojo, go for more Great Catcher, put a Pokemon Catcher, put in extra boss's orders, there's a whole bunch of little changes you can make, but this is the highest finishing deck with a few minor changes on my part. It finished in the top 10 in a tournament. That's the first time it's ever cracked top 10 in the first few days of the set. So I'll take it online and see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to be starting Coalossal V, or do I put the Oranguru up front? The problem here, again, there's so many problems with this deck that I'll be able to get into. Eruption Shot, that is tricky. And it's Eternatus. But you play 2 Oranguru. If you prize an Oranguru and your opponent knocks out the other one, too bad. And this is how they are going to be able to knock out my Coalossal VMAX, is just by pinging with Zigzagoon. And that is horrible. So if I'd gone first, if you're facing Eternatus, you want to go first, obviously, because that lets you get an Eternatus VMAX, a Coalossal VMAX, and then you can just knock out an Eternatus V and go up on prizes. So in the VMAX arena, going first is huge. Especially these decks like these that don't really have support attackers. The support attacker in my deck is Galarian Sirfetch'd. You need 3 energy on the field to be able to do anything. And Searing Flame, it's a fine attack, but oh man, they're just... How many? They've used 2 Scoop Up Net. Okay, so they had a great first turn. I will have to do that. I will do that. I will have to switch into my Oranguru. I guess put the Coalossal VMAX on top. Okay. And then I could... No, bosses wouldn't do anything because they have Dark City. So basic Dark Pokemon have free retreat. Yeah, so I'll put the other Coalossal V down. So I have 1 Oranguru left. And I guess putting Martial Arts Dojo down makes sense, because if they can't retreat, then they're stuck, and that's good for me. But then I would have an Oranguru in the active, so I need to hope I get my switch. But, I can Marnie again. That's the very least I can do. So they'll have a Pokecom, they'll either get Eternus VMAX or a Crobat. And they just have Zigzagoon for days here. Okay, so there's a Crobat. Good. Okay, so they're just thinning. They're probably going to ditch a card and maybe not even get anything. Oh, they're losing an Eternatus V. That is interesting. If somehow everything works out and I can knock out the Eternatus V, and then they prize their fourth Eternatus V, then I'm in a great position, but now not so much. But what I can do... Getting enough energy on Coalossal VMAX to use Gmax Boulder is not easy. I think maybe Karate Belt would be good in this deck instead of Buff Padding, because is Buff Padding better than Karate Belt? I don't know. There's just so many unknowns with Coalossal VMAX. The one known that I really like is that it has a grass weakness. As long as Welder exists, there won't be any really good grass decks because Centistorch is so good. I mean, you can play Weakness Guard Energy, but grass decks don't really stand a chance right now. Oh, please don't. Well, you're not going to do anything. Why would you do that? Okay, so I put that down. I do that. I could Marnie, but they don't really have anything. They had the bosses. So they didn't have a way to retreat. I can Marnie, I can draw some cards, and then I can put myself in a position where if I Marnie into an energy, I can Oranguru the energy. I think that makes sense because they can't knock this out because I'll have the Stone energy. So I think I'm just going to go all in. I think I'm going all in. I'm saying I'm getting an energy off this Marnie and I'm going to put it on the top of my deck. And that's not what happened. Good news is I have 2 Coalossal VMAX. Bad news is that I have to put either a Dedenne or a Crobat into play. Let's do that. And of course, okay, so Great Catcher is completely useless, but actually no, I'll put the research on top of my deck. Okay, so there's the bosses. That's unfortunate. So I think I just get a Crobat. I think I take the chance that I'm still gonna get an energy. All right. Just give me any energy. Don't care what. Oh my. Oh. Okay, let's just get rid of that. At the very least, I'm knocking out the Zigzagoon. So I can't. I have to take a chance. Oh no. Okay. So the tough thing here is if I get an energy, then I can most likely knock out an Eternus VMAX in one shot. If I whiff an energy, I'm discarding a card. If I put a card on top of my deck, I can just say, okay, I lose the Phione, that's fine. I have to take the chance. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Okay, so that's bad. Oh, and Zigzagoon is weak to grass, not fighting. Forgot about that. So that is horrible. So at this point, I am in a terrible position. Most likely they can't retreat the Zigzagoon because they got a research. They had to ditch a VMAX, doesn't matter. They have 2 Eternus VMAX, so that's not a big deal. I was really hoping things were going to work out, but they didn't. And this is, again, that is just typical Coalossal VMAX. You're just going to have to Eruption Shot and hope at some point with this deck. They scooped up the... That was a waste, but even with 2 Oranguru, you're just going to be, at some point, you're going to have to be, I'm going to Eruption Shot and just hope. And I couldn't knock out a Galarian Zigzagoon. I had 2 energy on a VMAX Pokemon, and I could not knock out a Galarian Zigzagoon. How sad is that? But, I mean, there's still a chance for me to win the game. They have 3 Crobat down. So if I boss is a Crobat, and then boss is a Crobat, I win. But again, the only way Oranguru works with Coalossal VMAX is if you have an energy in your hand. I do not have an energy in my hand. Please top deck an energy. Oh no, okay. I think I'm in the same position. I just gotta hope. I can't lose my boss's orders because they're just going to knock out my dude. So this is, I mean, I should easily have won this game. So, I mean, I can at least see what my top deck is going to be. My top deck would have been a Fighting Energy, and that's hilarious. So I will take the knockout. I will take 2 prizes. That was good. The reason I did that is I had the 2, so I'm like, I can check, and then I can rearrange my deck with Quick Ball if my top deck wasn't an energy. The bad news about that is you have to attach the energy that you discard with Eruption Shot, and you don't play a way to get back energy at all in this deck. So, in effect, I just wasted an energy. You know, yes, I took the knockout, but it came at the cost of losing not only an energy, but a stone energy, which is really important. So there's just too many drawbacks. It's the reason why Coalossal VMAX is not doing well in any of the tournaments except the one where it had, I think, a 10th place finish, and that's the sort of the list that I'm using. It's just Eruption Shot. You have to put an energy on top of your deck, and then you're only doing 130. You have to rely on weakness damage to do a lot. Getting Gmax Boulder powered up is not easy, as you've seen. And that's a Marnie, that's totally fine. And then something like Sable IV. Sable IV, actually, it could be negligible if I get my martial arts dojo, and I do not. And the Sirfetch'd at the perfectly wrong time. So I will get an energy. I will put a bunch of damage on this thing. Please give me a reset stamp or a Marnie or something. That's horrible. Okay, so Stone Energy is going down. I can at least guarantee that my top deck will be a Fighting Energy. And I lose a Switch. Okay, so I guess Sirfetch'd should go down. And I just won't have anything good, because then I can Mallow Lana or something if that's what it comes to. I'm losing 2 Switch though. That hurts. So yeah, just do that. And there's all my energy. All right. So I don't really want to thin anything. I don't need another... Yeah, I want to hold the Quick Ball just in case they reset stamp me. And, well, at least we know where all my energy was hiding. So I will have to Mallow and Lana. I will have to hope that they don't have a boss's order, so I will have to get a reset stamp. Because they're only down 1 bosses. Oh, they're down 2 bosses. Oh, they're down 3 bosses. Okay, that's totally fine, because they're going to go for a... I see what they're doing. I see what you're doing. But I can go get my martial arts dojo, hopefully. And you have to be able to scoop up net by now. They're down 4 scoop up net. You have the VMAX. Okay, so as long as I don't have a boss's orders, I win. Yeah, because they can knock out anything. Mallow and Lana. They have 3 Zigzagoon down. This does 60, so I don't think Mallow and Lana really matters for that reason. Okay. Do I put the boss's orders on top? Do I Mallow and... Yeah, I think I put the boss's orders on top. And there's all my energy. That is not good. Okay, so I'll do that. I could Phione. That doesn't seem good. How much energy is left? I have a stone and a capture. So if I did Denny, I can do that. But I have to guarantee. Oh, that was just... I wasn't banking on losing that energy, because I'm going to need to have an energy to do anything, but I also need to reset stamp them. I have 2 reset stamps, so I have to do everything. And Eruption Shot does 80. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I don't need to have an energy on the top of my deck this turn. It can be next turn that happens. So I think I just research the hand and yeah, just go from there. Okay. Whew, that hurt my brain. So I'll do all that. Tell me there's a reset stamp. Thank you. I don't want to put the capture... Actually, I think I do want to put the capture energy on top of my deck, right? Because then I have GMAX Boulder on standby, and there's all my supporters. There we go. So I have 4 energy on this thing. They have 1 card left. They are not doing nearly enough damage with Sable IV. Let's see what happens. You know, was it a game-winning reset stamp, or what's going to happen? Because I don't think they should have used the bosses on the Sirfetch'd. Oh, please tell me you prized your other Crobat. Oh, you already used it. Oh, no. Okay, so I have 330. They're doing 61, 21, 80, minus 20. Okay, so it's not even going to be close. So that's a well played, and that's a phew, that was close. That was a really good game. Finally get to use GMAX Boulder. I think what cost them the game was using the bosses on the Sirfetch'd. I think. I don't quite remember. Lots of things were happening. And yeah, they're just using standard, good old... Oh, they played Turbo Patch. I didn't see a single Turbo Patch that game. Played Tool Scrapper. Yeah, so it's a pretty good list. And they're just playing the Zigzagoon build. But I think going after the Sirfetch'd was a mistake on their part. But, if I was able to switch into it, then it would have just been 200. So maybe it wasn't really... Maybe it was a non-issue. They had to go after somebody. And they couldn't knock out the VMAX. So I don't know. I don't know if it was a misplay. I don't know. It was a win. I only won thanks to that weakness advantage. If I'd whiffed that capture energy at the end, Eruption Shot wouldn't have done enough if I didn't have weakness advantage. So I beat Eternatus. But if you're playing Eternatus and Pikarom all day long, then Coalossal VMAX seems like a great deck. If you're not facing those two decks, not so much. So let's see what I face next. And what I face next apparently is Pikarom. Oh, they're already giving me the well played. Okay. So I think I just go and get another Coalossal V. I have... yeah, I don't know. Do I go and get just a Coalossal VMAX? Because I'm going to have to lose this research. I don't know. I'm going for a Coalossal V. I'm going for that maximum potential for a good turn next turn. Because I don't think there's any way they can knock out a Coalossal V. Really? Yeah, because Tag Bolt would do 200, and Electropower doesn't exist anymore. If they play Pikarom, and they can do a Tag Bolt with a Vitality Band and a Galarian Zigzagoon, they can knock out my Coalossal V. And, okay, so they will have a turn. That's interesting. Oh, it's the Mew Box deck. Okay. I was wondering... So it's Pikarom with Mewtwo. Okay, so this isn't just a complete win. Oh. Did they prize their Mewtwo or something? Because you wouldn't put your Pikarom down. That would be a huge mistake unless you prize your Mewtwo. I think maybe 2 Mewtwo. But this is the reason why Mewtwo, and there's the Marnie. Of course. This is the reason why the Mewtwo, Lightning deck exists, is because fighting types just run through Pikarom. So now you play Mewtwo. And if your fighting type is weak to Psychic, then the Mewtwo hits you for weakness, but Coalossal is weak to Grass. So that's where that comes into play. But knock that out, it's game. So if I hold the Capture Energy, I don't think the Sirfetch'd is ever going to come into play. So I'll just go get a Crow. No, I won't. I will just enjoy my 2 prizes. Is that what I'm going to do? Because I can force them to bring up a Dedenne. I think... What's the Great Catcher situation? I have a Great Catcher. I have 3 Boss's Orders. I'm going to draw some cards. I'm going to get a Crobat first. I'm going to Pokecom the Phione. I'm going to go get a Coalossal VMAX. I'm going for a Great Catcher or a Boss's Orders. Doesn't matter which one. And then I also have to get an Oranguru. So it's actually, if I play the Capture Energy, then I can go get an Oranguru and I can put another energy on the top of my deck. Of course, I don't have exactly what I need, so I'll just go get an Oranguru. And I think I just have to. I think I've pushed it a little too far. The game is telling me that it's not going to cooperate. and the game would have cooperated. Okay. Because I was thinking if I Marnie or I research and my next hand doesn't have a single energy in it, then I'm just completely screwed. So I was banking that the game was going to screw me over, and then of course the game cooperates. I would have had an energy on the top of my deck that I could have just put back with Oranguru. So it's just the stresses of playing Coalossal. It doesn't always cooperate, and then when you don't think it's going to cooperate, it cooperates, and here we go. I know they can't put 2 energy on that thing, but they can put 1 energy on that thing, and that is not good. So they're not out of this game completely. They can Horror House me. They can stop me from playing any cards. That would be 100, 200, 300, so it wouldn't be a knockout unless I top decked a trainer. What I could do is I could Oranguru. I can Oranguru a trainer onto the top of my deck and just hope that the next card isn't a trainer. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing myself. If I'd known they would have got, the Gengar, the Mewtwo, just all this good stuff, maybe I would have pushed it and just tried to really get that Great Catcher just so I only have to take 2 knockouts instead of 3. But then things didn't seem to be working out. I'm like, well, I'm just going to win, and that's not the case. So that's good. I can't take the risk because it's 50, 100, 300. If I Oranguru the energy on top and it's a trainer there, they take a knockout. So I have to, I have to Eruption Shot. And it's Coalossal VMAX. Wonderful. So I have 1 Coalossal VMAX left in my deck. I'm down my Sirfetch'd. I'm down a Coalossal VMAX. The deck only plays 3 Coalossal VMAX. Hopefully I did not prize one. And if you're wondering, the reason why I put the 20 damage on the Gengar and Mimikyu is because it resists fighting. So if I'm in a position where I get to use G-Max Boulder next turn, that would do 220. So I have to put the 20 damage on it. So I had to do it. I didn't want to, but I had to. Thunder Mountain doesn't exist, so they need an energy switch to be able to use Choo-Choo. And because they attach to Choo-Choo, they're not using Poltergeist, so I don't really know what... were they really just going for a Horror House? Or were they really hoping to get an Aurora energy and they had to settle for the water? Okay, so we got... They could use Venom Shot. That's not going to be enough. We're going to get a Crobat. They have 180. They can't use... They've already used their GX. I don't know. I'm liking my odds of winning here because they would need Energy Switch and Switch. Otherwise, I have the knockout with G-Max Boulder. They can't take a one-shot on my Coalossal VMAX. They would have to do the Choo-Choo Paralyzed shenanigans, so that's pretty much going to be game. Yeah, they see the writing on the wall. I will do that. I think I will... Yeah, I'll Primate Wisdom. I'll put a Pokécom on top. There's a switch. That's good to know. Yes. And I'm putting the Pokécom on top, so if I get a Pokemon in my next hand, I can get a Coalossal VMAX, and that's perfect. Assuming I still have a Coalossal VMAX in my deck. I haven't checked. Please tell me I got one left. And yeah, when I'm assuming they'll probably concede when they see this, just because I have a backup. They would have to go through this VMAX, this Oranguru, and this Crobat to win the game. So, yeah, there's not really a chance that they can win unless they take a knockout this turn and they reset stamp me. And even then, I have a lot of good stuff left in my deck. So they have to paralyze or take a knockout and then reset stamp me. So again, I don't have the win completely in hand. The problem for them is that this does only need 1 energy to attack. The downside with Eruption Shot is that you have to have energy on top of your deck to do maximum damage. The plus side with Eruption Shot is that it only costs 1 to potentially do 130. And 130 times 2 is a perfect knockout on Choo-Choo. So it's one of those things, and I have 4 Switch. I have a Mallow Lana and 4 Switch. This should be fine unless they reset stamp me. And I also have Dedenne, so I would put the Stone Energy maybe on the Crobat. Because I'm not taking any chances. I'm going to go for it this next turn. I'm not taking any chances that they can just run through me. And there's Reset Stamp, Reset Stamp. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll just Reset Stamp them twice. I will Reset Stamp again. So I think what I do here is hold the Pokécom because I might get Dedenne or something. Yeah, I'll just Crobat for 4. That's good. There's a switch. That's game. Whew. So yeah, if you face Eternatus and Pikarom all day long, you're totally fine. But if you face anything else, it's not going to go well. So I know I showed Coalossal VMAX winning in this video. The problem is that I had to cut about 4 matches from this video because I either donked my opponent and that was just, a 3-minute game that wasn't interesting, or there was a game against Whimsicott that would have been really good, but I misplayed. So I cut that just because halfway through the game, I just made a really dumb error where I put the energy on top of my deck and then I wasn't thinking and I used Pokécom and that rearranged my deck and then I couldn't take a knockout on a Whimsicott as a result. So I decided to cut the game, and then just every time I play a deck that isn't weak to fighting, Coalossal isn't good enough. So if you're facing Eternatus and Pikarom all day long, play Coalossal against everything else, it's a struggle. So let me know your thoughts on Coalossal in the comments below, and other than that, I will see you tomorrow with Coalossal Expanded, and no, you shouldn't be excited about it. I'll see you then.